Hi everyone, Petrik here. For today's video, I'll be talking about the top 30 most Hi everyone, Petrik here. We are already in the month of December, so this is the final month of the year 2025. So yeah, time totally flies. That's what I always say, and it keeps on getting more true with each passing day. And because of that, because this is the month of December already, I will start posting some annual video of the year, and I will start by talking about my top 30 most anticipated books of the year 2026. Same rules, all of the books that I'm going to mention, or almost all of them, already have a confirmed release date of the year 2000 in the year 2026. At the end of this video, I will talk about some big potential release for books that are going to be released next year, but they don't have a final release date yet. Let's put it that way. So yeah, just like always, I will start going through this video from each month. So let's start from January 2026. And in the month of January, I only have one most anticipated book. This is for 12 Months by Jim Butcher. So this is the book number 18. I believe this is book number 18 in the Dresden Files series. And yeah, of course, I'm a huge fan of the Dresden Files series. It has been a while since I have read A Battleground. I think that's book number 17, but I remember really enjoying both Peace Talks and also Battleground, although my personal favorite will probably be Changes and also Skin Game, my favorite books in the series anyway. And I look forward to reading 12 Months. I don't have the book yet, but this is certainly one of my top favorite urban fantasy series. For now, this book is going to be released on the 20th of January. And then we move on to the month of February. Again, just like January, we only have one book here. This one slated to be released on the 19th of February. This is Out of the Ashes by Michael J. Sullivan. But this is the first book in the After the Fall series, and for the first time ever in the World of Elend series written by Michael J. Sullivan. Michael J. Sullivan will be writing this together with another author, and right now I'm still not sure about the quality of it, but I know that Michael J. Sullivan is really careful about choosing which author to work with together, and I think knowing that he actually agreed to this, that must mean that he has full confidence in this collaboration. And After the Fall, the series takes place after the Rise and Fall trilogy, but before the Rhyria Chronicles and also the Rhyria Revelation. So it is technically another bridge series after the Rise and Fall trilogy this time, after the Legends of the First Empire 2. And I think that's kind of funny. At first, the Rise and Fall trilogy was going to be the bridge series from Legends of the First Empire to the Rhyria books, but this time we have another bridge series. So let's see. I'm a big fan of Michael J. Sullivan's writing, so let's see whether this one will turn out alright or not. And this reminds me that I do need to read Drew Mindor, the 5th book in the Rhyria Chronicles. And then moving on to the month of March, we have 3 books here. The first one, actually, I already got the physical copy just now. This is for the Book of Fallen Leaves by Alex Tamaki. So this book has been pitched as Shogun meets Game of Thrones, and also it is a reimagining of the Heike story. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this epic fantasy novel. Probably inspired by Japan, of course. Japan and also Asian inspired. The cover totally reminded me of Shogun, and yeah, I want to read this one. For sure, this is a debut novel, and Orbit has been really confident that this one is going to be a big release, and this is slated to be released on the 17th of March. And then after that, we have a veteran author in the epic fantasy genre. This is from Mark Lawrence, The Daughter of Crows, the first book in the Academy of Kindness, or the Kindness Academy trilogy. And yeah, I have talked about this one several times on my YouTube channel because I got the chance to actually read an advanced reading copy of Daughter of Crows, and I really enjoyed this one. As I said, I will keep this brief, just not so that I don't prolong this video longer than it should be. But let's put it simply, this one is my favorite first book of a series by Mark Lawrence, just right after Red Sister. This one has a lot of similarity to Red Sister, except that it is darker, grim, and also there's a Greek inspiration to the world building, and also aging and also vengeance are both key themes of The Daughter of Crows. I think overall it's really good. I think many people will really enjoy this one, and I'm happy Mark Lawrence returned to his roots of writing darker story. Although I haven't read the Library trilogy yet, so it could be that that trilogy is dark as well. But The Daughter of Crows is going to be released on the 24th of March, and then on the last day of March we have Still Gods by Richard Swan. This is the sequel to The Grey Vampire, and of course this entire series, well, it takes place after many years after the end of the Empire of the Wolf trilogy. And admittedly, I haven't read Grey Vampire, and also I haven't read Still Gods yet. I had a great time reading Empire of the Wolf trilogy, and I really hope that this sequel series will work even better for me. And from what I get, from what I analyzed so far, and also what I designed together with Richard Swan, this series leans heavier on the horror and also on the fantastical side, and also the naval warfare. And yeah, I look forward to reading this series. And then moving on to the month of April, we have two books here. The first one is the sequel to A Song of Legends Lost by M.H. Ayinde. So this is A Dance of Burning Blades, and I consider Song of Legends Lost a great epic fantasy debut. It reminded me of Final Fantasy X and also Horizon Zero Dawn, and at the same time also Shaman King. I think those three are the biggest inspiration that came to my mind when I was reading A Song of Legends Lost. And I hope The Dance of Burning Blades, based on the cover art here, this is definitely a Temi, and also one character that I don't know, and another character that I cannot talk about because it is a spoiler. But this is a great debut. It is definitely an epic fantasy debut. There is barely any romance, if there's any anyway. But yeah, there's barely any romance in it, and I really enjoyed this one. I think it's kind of rare now to find an epic fantasy debut that doesn't consist of any romance, like romantasy. And an epic fantasy debut like A Song of Legends Lost is the kind of debut that I remember that I like to read, and I hope there will be more books like this again, more epic fantasy books like this again. And then after that we have Heart of the Naga by Lee Yongdo, and this pretty much can be pitched as the Lord of the Rings in Korea. Yeah, this is very famous in Korea, and it has been translated by Anton Her. And I really want to read this one for two reasons. One, I love the son of the Korean mythology being implemented in the world building, and second, there is going to be a video game adaptation of this book, The Heart of the Naga. That's actually how I found out about this book in the first place, The Bird That Drink Tears. I think that's the name of the series in Korea and also in the Western market. And there's a trailer for it. As I said, I will feature that, I guess, in the description down below. Make sure to check it out. It's looking super badass, but that trailer has been years now, and I don't know when the game will actually be out. But before that, well, I guess I'll read the book. And then moving on to the month of May, this is the biggest month of the year, apparently, because in the month of May, we have 5 releases that I look forward to. The first one, of course, is The Last Contract of Isako by Fonda Lee. Being released on the 5th of May, this has been pitched as John Wick in space, and also inspired by, I believe, Akira Kurosawa. It is cyberpunk, it is sci-fi, and it is a standalone novel from Fonda Lee. That's all I need to hear. A standalone novel, a novel really from Fonda Lee. And that's all I need to hear, because I'm a huge fan of the Greenbone Saga. I've read everything in the Greenbone Saga, and all of them are featured in my list of favorite books of all time. And I cannot wait to finally read The Last Contract of Isako. But speaking of sci-fi earlier, being released on the same date, we have The Platform Decay by Martha Wells, the newest title, the next title in the Murderbot Diaries series. So, as you know, I went through the entire Murderbot Diaries in this year, and I really had a good time. I guess I can say that up to Network Effect. Yeah, so the first 4 novellas and then Network Effect. Network Effect being the best of them all. I really enjoyed that first full novel in the Murderbot Diary series. But after that, Fugitive Telemetry and then System Collapse, I did not enjoy those two. I had really mixed feelings regarding those two, and after reading those 2 novellas, yeah, I guess they count as novellas. I'm a bit worried about the future of the series. And I know Murderbot Diaries will sell really well anyway. There's a lot of diehard fans for this series, and I totally understand why this series is well loved. And I love the TV show adaptation as well. But I hope Platform Decay will start steering the series toward the end, because right now there is no sign of it ending anytime soon, and I don't know where the plot is going to go. Anyway, it feels a bit aimless right now. That's kind of what I feel from reading the last two books, Fugitive Telemetry and also System Collapse. But I look forward to reading Platform Decay. The cover art by Jamie Jones looks absolutely beautiful here. And then after that, on the 7th of May, we have The Rain Shadow Orphans by Naomi Ishiguro. So this one is a debut novel being published by Saga Press, and this one, I think based on the premise and also based on everything that I heard so far, this one is going to be anime inspired and also Studio Ghibli inspired. So yeah, that's it. I want to read it. I'm a big fan of anime and manga, and I tend to enjoy reading manga or anime inspired story as well. And yeah, I look forward to reading this one. There is supposed to be a sun gods and all that. And then still on the same date, the 7th of May, we have Mortadell's Peril by R.J. Barker. So this is the newest book in the new series by R.J. Barker. So this is the 4th series now, after The Wounded Kingdom, The Tie Child, and then The Weird Wood, which I haven't read, ashamedly speaking, because I love the Wounded Kingdom trilogy and also the Tie Child trilogy, but I haven't gotten around to reading the Weird Wood or the Forsaken trilogy yet. And this is Mortadell's Peril. This combines epic fantasy and sci-fi. I think it's going to be an awesome book. Somehow, some parts of the premise actually reminded me a bit of Arcane. And yeah, looking forward to reading this one. Congratulations to RJ. And I've been following his career since the release of The Age of Assassin. And wow, he has been very productive. And finally, on the 19th of May, we have The Tapestry of Fate by Shannon Chakraborty. So this is the sequel to The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi. I think there is some parts of Amina Al-Sirafi, the first book, that felt really enjoyable. The book actually features a lot of sea portion, which usually doesn't click well with me, but this time it still works, which is quite impressive in my opinion. And yeah, I had a great time reading The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi. I believe I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's good. It's a good novel. Admittedly, I haven't read the Devabad trilogy yet, so I cannot compare whether this actually is better than the Devabad trilogy yet. I have tried reading City of Brass a long time ago, but I felt like I was always in the wrong mood when I was going to start reading the City of Brass. So maybe I'll give that a try again, the Devabad trilogy. But yeah, back to point. This one, The Tapestry of Fate, with the cover art by Ivan Belikov, is going to be released on May 2026, and I look forward to getting a copy of it and read it, of course. And now we move on to the month of June. In June, we have 3 titles, and I believe many people will be excited about these titles because these are big names. The first one is a Parade of Horribles by Matt Dinniman, the next title in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. So this one takes place after This Inevitable Ruin, which I think is the highest average ratings out of all the books in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series so far. And Matt Dinniman has pretty much become a superstar now. The stardom and also the praise that Dungeon Crawler Carl has received has been absolutely insane. And I think I'm just about to start reading the first book, if my time allows me this month amidst my super busy month. But yeah, I really look forward to reading Dungeon Crawler Carl series, and this book, A Parade of Horribles, will be released in June 2026. And then on the 9th of June, we have A Trail of Blood by Robert Jackson Bennett, the next title in the Anna and Dean series, or The Shadow of the Leviathan series, a murder mystery epic fantasy. And yeah, love the first book so much, The Tinted Cup. I haven't got a chance to reading A Drop of Corruption yet. It's really annoying me how many books that I want to read this year, but I couldn't get around to reading them. This one, and then there is, as I said, the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I haven't even read Wind and Truth and Of Empires and Dust. Those two books are, when you combine them, those two books are 1 million words. So yeah, it's insane. But A Trail of Blood is the 3rd book in the Shadow of the Leviathan series. Before the release of The Shadow of the Leviathan, I have read pretty much every epic fantasy book by Robert Jackson Bennett. I'm a big fan of them. The Divine Series trilogy, the Founders trilogy, I love them all. I think Robert Jackson Bennett is a great author that can combine multiple genres into one really seamlessly and organically. And yeah, I really look forward to reading the rest of the series. I don't know whether this one will be the last book or not. I don't think so, considering the popularity, and also since the beginning of the Tinted Cup, Robert Jackson Bennett has mentioned that he plans to do a lot of books in the series, assuming that they sell and well received. And I think so far they are very well received. And then after that, on the last book in the month of June, this is Songs of the Dead by Brandon Sanderson and Peter O'Rulian. Again, I just talked about this one in my recent SFF Spotlight episode. I don't know too much about it beyond what is written on the premise, but again, this is written together with Peter O'Rulian. I haven't read anything by Peter O'Rulian as well, but I don't know. I look forward to the release of this one as well. I'm so behind, as I said, on Brandon Sanderson's book. I haven't read The Isle of the Amber Dark as well, but I look forward to the release of this one. And now we move on to the month of July. In the month of July, I have only one book to feature here. On the 28th of July, we have The Demon Star by J.C. Aragon. Gods rule this planet, demon stalks its canyon, while kings beg for mercy. Can human rewrite the history? The cover art here, when I saw the cover reveal for the first time, I knew it was Kieran Yanner, the artist behind the Sun Eater books, book 2 up to book 7. Yeah, the artist behind the cover art of book 2 up to book 7 of the Sun Eater. And after that, I checked the premise, I checked what the author said about the book. Apparently, this is kind of like a love letter to many classic sci-fi such as Dune, Hyperion, and even, I think, Sun Eater as well. So yeah, I'm sold. I will be reading The Demon Star by J.C. Aragon for sure. This is one of my most anticipated debut of 2026. And then moving on to the month of August, we have two books here. The first one on the 4th of August, this is The Infinite Space by Richard Swan again. So Richard apparently is super busy. He has two novels being released next year. And this one is a space opera. Yeah, space opera, not an epic fantasy novel. And I look forward to reading this one as well. I think the premise sounds really good, and I'm just kind of curious to see Richard Swan's take on sci-fi. I know that he's actually, in reality, a bigger fan of sci-fi rather than epic fantasy, because I talk about this in an interview with him, and I'm curious to see his take and writing in the genre. And then this one doesn't have a release date yet, but this is a new book by Garrett Hanrahan. Pitched as Jungle Book meets Dungeon and Dragon, this one is called The Dungeon Book. And yeah, I love The God of Prayer very much, and The Shadow Saint as well. I felt a bit more lukewarm about the third book in the Black Iron Legacy, but I still enjoyed that regardless. And after that, I haven't got a chance to read his next series yet, The Sword Defiant. But this one is going to be a standalone novel, and I think I can spare some time to dive into this book, The Dungeon Book. And then this one is going to be released on the month of August, but there is no release date yet. And then in September, we have two confirmed titles, but both of them doesn't have any release date yet as well. The first one is the newest book by John Gwynne. This one is available on Amazon right now, so I think the title is The Wisdom of Wolves, and this is supposed to be released on September 2026. So of course, this is John Gwynne. I don't need to say anything else about this. I've been a big fan of the Banished Land saga, of John Gwynne's writing ever since Malice, the first book in The Faithful and the Fallen, and also the Banished Land saga. I've read everything by John Gwynne, and of course, this one will be no exception. Once I have the advanced reading copy, it will be day one read for me, or pre-day one, because it will be an advanced reading copy. But yeah, looking forward to reading this, and let's see whether this will top The Shadow of the Gods as the best first book of a series written by John Gwynne so far. And then the next one, this actually isn't confirmed to be released in September yet, but this is confirmed to be released on fall 2026. So this is The Taipei story by R.F. Kuang. I have read everything by R.F. Kuang as well. Well, except A Yellow Face. That's the only one that I haven't read, and I pretty much enjoyed everything that she has ever written. And yeah, this one, Taipei story, sounds really good, and I look forward to reading this as well. I'm sure that this will be another big release in the industry, and I cannot wait. I think R.F. Kuang is the kind of author that always try something new in her storytelling, and I look forward to reading this. And then we move on to the month of October. After this, we will talk about potential release in the year 2026. So October, we have only one book here. This is The Splintered Sun by Ted Williams. So this is another book in the Ostenart sagas. So even though The Last King of Ostenart ended with the Navigator's Children, which I will read really soon because I'm in the middle of wrapping up Into the Narrow Dark. Sorry about that. I think I will be finishing Into the Narrow Dark after I'm done with this video. But yeah, I think I will be reading Navigator's Children. But this one, The Splintered Sun, it takes place after Brothers of the Wind, 800 years after Brothers of the Wind, but before the Dragonbone chair. So yeah, well, I'm a big fan of the Ostenart saga. No doubt I will be reading this book. And this one, again, as I said, is going to be released in October 2026. And now for the remaining 9 books in the series, all of this, or almost all of this, are confirmed to be released in the year 2026. But they don't have any release date yet. I don't think they even have a release month. So that's why I'm including them in potential release just in case they change again. So let's talk about them one by one. The first one is The Fox in Winter by Antonia Hudson. So this is the sequel to The Raven Scholar. I haven't read The Raven Scholar yet, but I'm a big fan of murder mystery epic fantasy. I first found out about this book from Charis Luke, who I got to work together with on the Greenbone Saga and also the Illuminate and pretty much other titles as well. But yeah, after hearing about this book from Charis Luke, I knew I must read The Raven Scholar. Everything about it sounded like it will be a book that's suitable for me, but I haven't got a chance to reading that yet. But The Fox in Winter, it will comes in the year 2026, I think, unless, again, as I said, that situation change. And then we have an Untitled J. Kristoff book. This one has been pitched as Inglourious Basterds meets Game of Thrones. So yeah, there's a video, I think, on Instagram. I think it was in a panel or in the conversation with Daniel Green, J. Kristoff and Daniel Green, and Jay talk about this book in more detail. So I guess I can put the link to that video in the description down below. So, and let Jay talk about the book to all of you, but I think it sounds really, really good. And then the next one, if you have watched my interview with James Islington, James has talked about this one, the author behind the Licanius trilogy and also the Hierarchy series. James has mentioned that he has another novel that is going to be released in 2026, and it's going to be a sci-fi novel. So that's all he said. I actually know what the book is, but I'm not allowed to actually talk about it yet. So yeah, this book is going to be released in the year 2026, and I expect many people will be looking forward to reading this one, considering how famous and well-deserved all the fame is, how famous James Islington is right now, thanks to the Hierarchy series. And onward to the next one, we have The Truth by Ryan Cahill, the 4th novella in the Bound and the Broken series, the 4th bridge novella in the Bound and the Broken series. So The Truth, publication-wise, is the next book going to be published after Of Empires and Dust, but before the final book, yeah, Of Gods and Ruin. I think that's the title of the final book. And yeah, I haven't read Of Empires and Dust yet, as I said, so this situation needs to be remedied in the year 2026, that's for sure. But The Truth will be out in 2026, and you know I will be reading that as well. And then we have The Cure for Living by Nicolas Lietzau. Again, this book, I'm sorry to everyone who have watched my SFF Spotlight. This is not my fault, okay? But the author has been facing a lot of delays with the release of this one, even though I know that some of you has mentioned that the author has said that this book will be out on a certain month, but this keeps on getting delayed and delayed. But I think it is for sure now that it is going to be released in early 2026, but no confirmed release date yet. And then again, I do not want to jinx this, but The Cure for Living is the sequel to Dreams of the Dying, a book that I absolutely love, and I hope The Cure for Living, that concludes the story of Jespar, will be a great one here. It has a lot to live up to from Dreams of the Dying. Dreams of the Dying is one of my top favorite self-published fantasy novel. But speaking of self-published fantasy novel, my top favorite is The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. And M.L. Wang, I think, is going to have a new standalone novel being released in 2026, published by Del Rey as well. Again, not confirmed yet, and there is still the chance that this one is going to be released in 2027 instead. But considering how much a fan I am of The Sword of Kaigen and also Blood Over Brighthaven, this one is of course one of my most anticipated books, whether next year or in 2027. And the same goes for the next one, Red God by Prisbrand. Now, I think the current situation is that this one maybe is going to be released in the middle of 2026, but Pierce has mentioned that he's not going to release a book that he's not satisfied. So there's still a chance this is going to need an extra editing and goes to the year 2027. But Red God is the seventh and final book in the Red Rising saga series, my top favorite sci-fi series, together with the Sun Eater by Christopher Rocchio. And the Sun Eater has ended, so let's see whether Red God will be able to conclude the Red Rising saga magnificently. But yeah, I'm so pumped for this one. Lightbringer was one of the best in the series. I think it's up there as the best in the series together with Morning Star for me, and I cannot wait. I really cannot wait to read Red God. And then we only have two more books to spotlight in this video. The next one is The Judge of Worlds by Daniel Abraham. So this is the third and the final book in the Kitamar trilogy. I haven't read any of the books in the Kitamar trilogy, but I have read pretty much everything else by Daniel Abraham, whether it's The Dagger and the Coin, the Long Price Quartet, or the Expanse series. I have read them all and I enjoyed them all. I think he's one of the most underrated and also under the radar the fantasy books authors right now. His sci-fi novels, of course, The Expanse is incredibly famous and well loved, but his Dagger and the Coin, also the Long Price Quartet, and I believe the Kitamar trilogy as well, all of them doesn't seem to have a large fan base. And I guess that's not too much of a surprise, because I don't think his books are suitable for the larger market. But I do think that his books, especially if you click with his writing, that reminded me of A Song of Ice and Fire by George Martin. I think you will really enjoy his epic fantasy novel as well. Just be patient with the first book of his series. That's all. I think that's all I can say for now. And now we move on to the last one. If this book is going to come out, it will probably be next year. This is The Lord of Demons by Evan Winter, the third book in the Burning series. So this has been a long time now. I think the second book, The Fires of Vengeance, actually came out in 2020 or 2021. So it has been 5 years. By next year, it would be 6 years since the release of the second book. But I really enjoyed reading The Rage of Dragons and also The Fires of Vengeance. So if The Lord of Demons comes out in 2026, I'll be reading that for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I put a link to pre-order all the available books, assuming they have a pre-order link anyway, in the description down below. So that's my top 30 most anticipated books of the year 2026. And let me know which one of this is in your list of most anticipated books of the year 2026. And if there's any that I forgot to mention, please do let me know which books you are looking forward to next year. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me today. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.